Morning, everyone. How are we all today? I hope we're well. Let's look, see who's in. We've got Doug Cope, Duncan McCretcher, Indy Duck Mel, Jeanette Gofillin, Aki's Mad, Kirsty Hamilton, Stephen Bankier, Wee Bird, Reagan O'Eat. Good morning, Reagan O'Eat. He's on right after me, I think, folks. I'm not sure. He'll let you know in the comments. Who else we got? Stuart Laird, Spanner Mac. I see Zuni's in this morning. Sandra Miller. Hi, Sandra. How are you? You sneaking a wee lesson at work today, you, Sandra. Good morning, Sir Larry. Linda. Who's this we got? Lizzie. Or Urkya. Or whatever that is. Right, back down we go. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard. Let's get this one underway, shall we? Indy Truck Davy out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is a lovely morning. Chilly though, 4 degrees. But it's bright and clear. Today's high will be 6 degrees. And the humidity, 87%, so the air's still quite damp. And the wind speeds 4 to 12 miles an hour here in this area. And the pollen count doesn't count at 0. So that's what the weather's like here in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know the weather's like where you are, look out your own bloody windy. All right. First up this morning, we'll get the fail. See if we can find the thing. What's the fail got for us this morning? The Daily Fail tells us that Scottish Jews are living in fear of hate attacks. I dare say Jews all over the world are living in fear of hate attacks at this point in time. But they've got to be clear. The problem's actually in Israel. And it's contaminating the whole of the Jewish people, even the ones that don't live in Israel, unfortunately. And it's just the way it is. And apparently, tensions mount in wake of Bondi horror. Community leaders warn families are fleeing to Israel because they don't feel safe. See you in a couple of weeks when you get back. You think you're going to Israel to feel safe. Wow. Don't think Scots people will like Israel very much. Now, there's about 6,000 people in the Scottish Jewish community, according to the census. Now, I don't think they really need to live in fear. I think this is fear-mongering. In fact, I'm sure it's bloody fear-mongering. Next up, we've got the Herald. What's the Herald tell us this morning? Bill for City NHS staff suspended with pay hits 1 million. Now, apparently, there's that many staff suspended for the NHS in the Greater Glasgow area. On full pay, it's costing £1 million a year, and they've lost up to 41 years worth of work, apparently. Thank you, Liz. Thank you very much. And that'll go to those in need, believe me. Right, so that's a Herald. It tells us that HR department in the NHS is not getting through their complaints and through their disciplinary procedures, and it's costing up to £1 million a year. Okay, let's get rid of that. Now let's see what the Looney Rags got for us this morning, and it's following the fail on fear-mongering. Bondi Beach horror sparks fears of anti-Semitic attacks here in Scotland. I don't know why. If there are fears of anti-Semitic attacks here in Scotland, they have to actually look to the state of Israel and blame the state of Israel. But as I stated yesterday afternoon, that there will be disposed Palestinians displaced Palestinians right round this world. And amongst them, there will be some really angry people who will be seeking revenge for the loss of their families. Let's hope they can keep a lid on it. Let's hope they can keep a lid on it. As I say, this is fear-mongering. I don't think the 6,000 Jews living here in Scotland have got any reason to fear the rest of us. But for that, how do you spot them? If they're not wearing the silly wee cap and making their way in and out of a synagogue, how do you know who's Jewish? I could be Jewish for all people know. I'm not right enough, but I could be. For all people know. Right, that's the Express. Next up, we'll get Scum, and I don't put the Scum up, so I'll tell you what it says. And the Scum has victims of anti-Semitic hate. Really? Could this not just been a revenge attack? A revenge attack by somebody who's lost a family and who misguidedly blames the Jewish people in Australia. But what it's got on the front page is a picture of a 10-year-old girl in a yellow dress. And the picture was taken just before the shots rung out. And they say 10-year-old girl was killed amongst the 15 people who were died and the 40 odds who were injured. Horrible thing. But it's not as if it wasn't expected. The Jewish community should take some extra precautions. Because, as I've stated, there is a lot of people angry because the Jewish state, Israel, is committing a genocide. And of course, out of those displaced Palestinians, there will be some really angry people. And so let's hope they can keep a lid on it. But the blame lies squarely at the feet of the Jewish people living in Israel. Not the Jewish people living elsewhere, unless, of course, like a few of them, like yon Scots colonel in the IDF, that guy's back here in Scotland, he should actually be in court. Right, what's the Scotsman got for us? Well, that's not the Scotsman. That is right. Scotsman's got ministers told to act now to save Scottish high streets. Five businesses groups join to demand a cut in rates. That ain't going to save the Scottish high streets. There's nothing saving the Scottish high streets. The only way to save the Scottish high streets would be to stop e-commerce. Nobody's traipsing out into a wet high street to buy anything if they can just sit down in front of their screen and have it delivered, which is the preferred way of shopping these days. You can buy anything online. Why would you traipse out to the high street? Christ, I could even order my groceries online if I wanted to. Prefer to go to the high street, funny enough. But there's nothing saving the high street, folks. I mean, you hit Bells Hill High Street or Airdrie High Street, Main Street, whatever you want to call them. Bookies, nail joints, barber shops, and maybe a chemist, optician. That's basically what there is left in high streets. Bookies and opticians and charity shops. Right. So they can demand a rates cut if they want. It's not going to save the high street. The high street will not be saved because e-commerce has taken over. What they need today is take town centres and turn them into places of entertainment, restaurants, bars, cinemas, dance halls, that sort of thing. And of course, some of it could be repurposed for housing. Right, next up after that, we've got The Guardian. And The Guardian's back on the Bondi massacre, as they're calling it. What's the Guardian got for us this morning? Tears, flowers and silence. Sydney unites in grief after Bondi horror. Well, you know, it's only right that the community come together and try and stop such things from happening. And that the community mourns together after something like this has happened. As I say, I don't condone what's happened, but I understand it. And it won't be the last. It won't. There are displaced Palestinian people who are angry at the Jewish people in Israel slaughtering their relatives. The thing we've got to get through to these people is there's no point in taking it out to people taking it out on people who don't live in Israel and don't have connections to Israel and aren't involved in the genocide in Israel. But it's right that the community should mourn together, feel the loss together. Because these were members of their community. And it is tragic. It is horrible. But as I say, it won't be the last. It won't be. There will be people out there looking for revenge. Next up, we have the Tory graph. No, we haven't. It's the Rancid, so I'll tell you what the Rancid says, and then we'll move on to Tory graph. The Rancid's got tourist horror in Oz. Scots TikTok star. Bondi Beach agony. Lily 20. Was apparently only a few minutes away from the site of where the Jewish festival was being held when the shots rang out. She's a lucky girl. 5 minutes later, she could be in the middle of it. Right, so that's a Rancid. Now for the Telegraph. So obviously the lassie's a TikTok influencer according to this. Where'd the bloody Telegraph go? There we go. Trump kicks off BBC court battle. Apparently Trump is going to try and sue the BBC. I don't see it working, but he's going to try. And apparently he's going to try and sue the BBC for up to 5 billion quid. That would be enough to end the BBC. But as I say, I don't see him getting very far with this one. In fact, I don't see him getting very far with anything. I'm expecting him to be in jail shortly. So I am. But that remains to be seen. Right, after the Telegraph, we'll get the National. And what's the National got for us this morning? What tells us something we already knew, believe it or not. And that is study reveals how BBC and ITV sideline the SNP. Coverage of pro-Indy parties is scant. Tell us something we don't know. The BBC specifically, in their charter, is supposed to project and protect national unity. So it's a unionist tool. It's unapologetically a unionist tool. Simple as that. The BBC have also admitted that they did doctor that question that come up in question time. I didn't see it, I'm not interested. And Swinney says he's no problem with the word national in the SNP's name. No, never that. It is the Scottish National Party. It is a party of Scotland. There is only the Greens and the Scottish National Party who are actually Scottish parties in that parliament along that bloody road. So, there you have it. But anybody surprised that the BBC and the ITV sideline the SNP? No. As I say, in the BBC charter, it's their job to try and keep the union together by promoting unity. Right, doing with that. Oh, headache this morning, folks. Unusual, I don't normally get headaches. Next up, we've got the Eye. What's the Eye got for us this morning? MI6 chief, global tech giants are seizing power from politicians. The Eye should start watching this programme. I've just covered neoliberalism. The ultimate end game of neoliberalism is corporate governance. So, this isn't a surprise. MI6 chief. Where you been? You been hiding? Oh, she's new. She's only just expressing her opinions. Well, it is true. But that is the end game of neoliberalism. That is corporate governance of the people as opposed to parliamentary governance of the people. Okay. So that is the ultimate goal of the political philosophy being followed at the moment, neoliberalism. The ultimate goal is corporate governance and small state. Okay. So the I highlights what we've been talking about when we've been doing the political theories that are bouncing around. So next up, we should have the metro. So we'll get the metro up. I know it's not been so lively today, folks, but I'm going to say I've got a wee bit of a headache. Near ranting, or I'm trying not to rant. We'll see what the metro's going to say. You never know, might still get a rant, won't we? Liverpool attacker sentencing hearing. Simple, selfish, rage, spark, parade, terror. Now, apparently the driver who struck 100 football fans was using car as a weapon to get past the crowd. And he told the police, apparently, that he'd ruined his family's life, after trip to pick up friend ended in shame. Guess that's one way you put it. Shame. You've driven your vehicle deliberately into a parade of football fans and you're feeling shame. And you're feeling shame about it, are you? Good for you. He's right about one thing. He has ruined his family and other families' lives. Motor vehicles are dangerous things in the wrong hands. In the wrong hands, they are a weapon of mass destruction, as this bloody idiot has proven. So no doubt he'll get a good long stretch. Probably life, actually. Right, done with that. And the book's done, so you know what that means. It means we're on the last one, the star. So let's see what the stars go for us today. And the star is also on Parade Rampage Horror. Get out of the feckin' way, apparently. The picture in the centre there, or the picture is of his vehicle being driven into the crowd. It's now been in that picture, has been surrounded by police. And the wee circle in the middle is a picture of the gentleman himself who drove that car into the Liverpool fans. Wow. Yeah. And apparently, according to my notification there for Owen Jones, Netanyahu's having a pop at the Australian Prime Minister. Netanyahu wants to keep his gob shut. He's the problem. He's the reason why Jewish people around the world will be subject to attacks. Netanyahu is the problem. And the mindset of the Jewish people in Israel is also the problem. And as I say, if the Scottish Jewish families moving to Israel, they'll not stay there long. They won't like it. They just won't like it. As for this nutter that drove his car into a parade celebrating a win for Liverpool for whatever reason, it's not on. He needs to be locked up and given psychiatric assistance. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Stella, thanks. Right, folks, that's it for the day. A wee bit tamer today. A wee bit tamer today. As I say, I've got a bit of headache, so I cannot be bothered getting into it. I really can't. But as I say, the situation for innocent Jews around the world has got a wee bit more difficult thanks to the Jewish people who are squatting in Palestinian land. Charlie Cat's fan club says, Mr. McGuinness, check your Discord PMs. I will do it right after the programme, Sir Larry. Okay. Now, get you all tomorrow at 10:30. Look after yourself. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for watching in huge numbers again. 137 of you, just as we trap off. It was a bit higher. And thanks to the moderators for moderating. Thanks to everybody that's safe for the super chats. That'll go out to the food banks. Just at the beginning, when the banks open again on the 3rd of January. So, look after yourselves. Have a pleasant day. Looks like not a bad day. I'm going to get out and about, I think. So, bye for now.